Welcome everybody to this very special edition of Nerds Without Pants, the best of Nerds Without Pants, in point of fact. I am Julian, and I thought this would be a really fun way to help celebrate not only our upcoming 75th episode, but this special is being released on the exact third anniversary of the first episode of Nerds Without Pants. And I just think that's kind of an awesome thing, and you know, we're kind of a little show, but we're still here, and we're still kicking, and I think that we've gotten better and better over the years. But I thought it'd be fun to take a look back at some of the hilarity that we've had over all that time. Now, just to get this out of the way before we get into it, you know, the audio quality of this episode is going to vary rather wildly. Technology has changed a lot in 3 years, and our tech has improved, and our connections have improved, and you will notice that the older clips do not sound quite as nice as the newer clips. I've tried to clean them up as best as I can, but just keep that in mind as you're going forward. The way that I've decided to break the show down, I'll come back and introduce little segments here and there. We'll also just have some funny little outtakes and extra things that need no introduction that are just interspersed throughout, and it should be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's get into it with the best of Nerds Without Pants. Huzzah! It wouldn't be a best of Nerds Without Pants episode without the wonderfully hilarious Rob Otone. Now, if you're a newer listener, you probably don't know who that is, and that's kind of a shame, but Rob actually helped found this show. He was part of our Pixel Talk podcast crew when we were doing that, and then when we came over to Nerds Without Pants, he was there from the beginning, and you'll hear from him later on, but I felt that we needed to kind of reintroduce Rob to the new listeners, and just a little point of warning is that Rob is rather, he's rather abrasive isn't the right word. He's rather boisterous, and we definitely use our explicit tag a lot more in the early episodes than we do today, so just keep that in mind moving forward. Now, this first clip from Rob comes from episode 3, The Hardest Trophy, in which we were talking about our love of trophies and achievements, and it's a fun episode to go back and listen to because Rob is convinced that he is not really that into achievements and doesn't have a problem, but if you listen to the episode, you kind of get the impression that he kind of does, and he's in total denial. But it is responsible for one of the funniest stories that Rob has ever told on Nerds Without Pants, and I have that for you right here.
I actually, it's kind of funny. There was a contest that Microsoft ran back in the early days of the Xbox. I think it was actually an Xbox Live contest, where if you gained a certain amount of achievement points by a certain date, between a certain date to a certain date, you won like all kinds of shit. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. Why not? My buddy at the time worked for Hollywood Video, and I looked up online. I was like, well, what are the easiest achievements to get? I only need to gain like 500 achievement points in a certain amount of time. So I was like, what's the easiest thing? And I was like, well, I'm not going to play King Kong. Fuck that. So it comes back to me, and this is probably the saddest achievements that I have. It was for the car video game. Remember that fucking Pixar movie that I never saw because it freaks me out? I don't see, like, my problem with cars is I don't understand the universe. Like, are there people?
Yeah, that
like,
weirds
are there
me out
hospitals
too.
or
Yeah.
I mean, there's no people, right? So who's building the cars? Is it cars building cars? Or do hospitals exist, or is everything a garage?
But there's buildings everywhere with like elevators and stuff too.
Yeah,
so
I don't understand. It doesn't. I mean, are there stairs? Are there stairs? Are there people? I just don't get it. So anyway, where did the people go? Because someone had to design the first car, right?
I'm sorry, that's great.
I think a car designed the first car.
I don't get it. I don't. It's just, I don't know. So anyway,
it's my least favorite Pixar movie, to be honest. Even though the kids love it.
Horrible. You know? It made $6 billion, so I guess they do love it. But I got this Cars game to play, and I think that asshole piece of shit comedian, the one that Republicans love and people from the South, Larry the Cable Guy, I think he's in the game, and it made me want to kill myself.
Yeah.
And this guy is like talking in the game, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I remember I looked at the achievement list. I was like, I need to get through this. This is killing me. And I went through it. I gained my 500 points, and then the next thing I know, I got an email from Xbox Live giving me free avatar clothes, free pictures, and a copy of Contra.
But I admitted that I had a problem and I fixed it.
I don't have a problem. The end.
Next time on A&E.
You really do.
I don't see it as a problem. Like, I play the games, guys. I don't know. Am I a better gamer than you? Is that why you guys are pissed?
No,
that these
I'm not
achievements has
pissed.
happened for me. So,
Well, to be fair, you do constantly go back for achievements.
I would never say that I'm a better gamer than anybody.
But
Yeah,
When?
you-
I don't know when I do this. I'm sorry?
No, but you imply it as such that you're better gamers than us. You would never actually you wouldn't say it outright. You just imply it heavily.
yeah.
I would never imply that ever. I don't. First of all, Julian, you have the patience of fucking Job to sit through Final Fantasy games. I don't have that. I can't play a JRPG because they bore the shit out of me. And Patrick, you play like 3DS games. I can't do that. I can't even see 3D. So that's fantastic. And you play your Wii, and you're like a Nintendo guy, and that's awesome. Like,
And PS3. Hey.
yeah, that's awesome. Like, I don't play those things. Like, those don't get me hard. I don't feel like I'm a better gamer than anybody. I'm certainly not a better fighting gamer than my buddy TIE Fighter, and I'm certainly not a better RPG player than Julian. I might be a better shooter player than you guys, but I don't know. We've never really played shooters, so...
But there had to be a game where you thought, man, I spent way too much time going for this trophy. No?
No.
Like, there's at least that one game where you had to play 1,000 days in a row or whatever.
Well, yeah.
Let me ask you this, Rob. Like, when you actually did get like all 1,000 points on Halo 3, were you more like, holy crap, like I can't believe I got all 1,000 points, or were you more like, oh wow, I finally got all 1,000 points, like, hooray?
I think it was more a holy crap thing because like the very last one that I got, it was like a funny one. It was like, I think it was some nonsense of like kill somebody on a mongoose with a sticky grenade. Like something, the mongoose, for those who don't know, is like a little ATV type thing. And it was run somebody over and kill them with a mongoose, which is really hard to do, because if you run somebody over with a mongoose, you're not going to kill them, you're going to take their shields down, that's it. So basically what had to happen was somebody had to either fall from a great height to a point where they hit the ground and it took their shields down, or they had to get caught in an explosion and not killed, have their shields taken down and their health taken down enough for me to splatter them with the mongoose. And that's what happened. The guy fell down off a thing, it took his shields down, and I splattered him with the mongoose. And I got the last achievement that I guess, quote-unquote, needed or whatever to complete the set. So, I mean, that one I was like, haha, that's awesome. That's really funny that happened. Because I was never expecting to get it. Like, the main thing, like, we went through Halo 3 on Legendary. I mean, it was me and my friends, Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I can't wait to go through this on Legendary. Like, it wasn't, we just did it because we all loved Halo 2. And, like, we were all good at Halo. So we were just like, fuck it, let's go through it on Legendary together, and that's what we did. Maybe I'm in denial. I feel like I'm more of like an achievement whore or like a hoarder or something when it comes to like The Comedian and Watchmen. Like, I feel like that's more like obsessive for me than achievements.
Yeah.
Because I was at the comic book store today and I was like, there is that Comedian statue coming out? And the guy's like, oh, we don't know yet. I'm like, the second it does, can you email me and I'll come down and pay for it? So, like, I mean, I'm more obsessive with stuff like that, and I'm more obsessive with trying to win back my ex-girlfriend. So it's like these are things that I'm more obsessed with than achievement.
That's the ultimate achievement, isn't it, Rob?
Of course, pussy is always the ultimate achievement. Is there a noise that goes off when you get a trophy?
Yeah, there is, but it's just not quite as satisfying as the achievement sound.
It's like
for me. It's just like a blink. It just sounds cheap.
I don't know. I never got a trophy in PlayStation 3 games, so I have no idea. I just know that the Xbox 360 one, like, I hear it in my head when I hook up with a girl or whatever. So it's like, achievement unlocked, more vagina. You don't give yourself the credit you deserve. So
well,
we're all good looking. We're probably the best looking podcasting team on the internet.
Yeah.
I think that's how you should introduce us this week.
Yeah, but see, it's more like the Bulls, where it's like Patrick is like the Michael Jordan, and then we're just like the other guys. Where it's like Patrick is so handsome that it like brings the rest of us up.
Patrick's the Michael Jordan. I think at best, no offense, Patrick's the Scottie Pippen.
Come on. I don't know.
Of our Chicago Bulls team.
I think of myself more as like a Steve.
I think he's the Pippen. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, Pippen was into those teams winning championships. So.
Well, no offense, but I think Steve Kerr.
I think he's the Pippen.
I would be more like the Steve Kerr because I play that way. But.
The '92 Dream Team. He's John Stockton.
So if you're familiar with this little jingle on Nerds Without Pants, you know that it's an indicator of technical difficulties. We have those from time to time. We had them a lot more in the early days of the show, and sometimes things just go wrong. So that's what I have for you here, because I thought it was kind of funny. This actually comes from episode 5, Till All Are One, which was originally supposed to be a full episode with a topic and everything, but things just went bad, and we tried to pick up the show and do something else with it to make it fully flesh, but that didn't work either. So we have a funny little intro from that episode, and then we have when things just went tits up. So enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerds Without Pants, episode 5. I am Julian Prime, and I'm joined as always by Patrick Magnus.
Hi.
Mega Rob.
Oh, Mega Rob?
I was thinking about Rob Tron, but that sounded more like a vibrator brand.
Why couldn't I get my nickname from high school, Robimus Prime? Because I worshipped Hot Rod.
No, but I already took the Prime, so you can't have the
Yeah, but
Prime.
I could be the second one.
No.
I could Robimus Prime
Okay, you can
after I open the Matrix of Leadership.
You can totally be the lame Prime. That's fine. You can be the lame Prime.
I always liked Hot Rod, and I always liked Rodimus Prime.
Well,
that's the reason I owned a Camaro.
What? That doesn't even make any sense.
He was a hot rod.
Well, if you're owning a Camaro, maybe you should be Bumble Ron.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that's only modern Bumblebee.
This is already off the
I would never
rails.
buy a Volkswagen because Hitler designed them. The end.
And that's been Nerds Without Pants, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye. You should play the outro music.
If we had actual outro music, it would go in right here. But we don't.
Well, yeah, listeners. Jesus, you creative fucks.
Yeah, we have a contest.
Sort of.
For music.
Yeah. If
you get a vial of my blood if we end up using your music.
Which you can either drink or use to clone a Rob, but why would you want that?
Yeah, you don't want two of me running around. I'd have to kill myself.
Alright guys, so we kind of goofed. We had some really bad technical difficulties the night that we recorded this podcast, and we decided to try to reconvene at a later date to get you the actual topic of the show, but then we had some scheduling difficulties. So what we're actually going to do is this will be a two-parter. You'll get what you heard already, and then the next week we will have the actual Vices in Video Games topic, which will give us some time to actually expand on a little bit more. So you can stay tuned for a little bonus feature featuring myself and Rob, as well as some outtakes. If not, then we will see you next week. But Rob,
I'm just imagining people turning it off right now.
There's no Patrick. I don't want any of this crap.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I signed up for 3 Nerds Without Pants, not 2. What is this? Rob, you had meant to talk about this in the What We Were Playing section, and we just kind of totally forgot about it. Are you there? Dadgummit. Rob. Okay, Okay, sorry guys. We actually have a second kerfluffle. The bonus material that we were trying to record had the same technical difficulties that we had before, so I apologize. The people responsible have been sacked, and we will get to the bottom of this. But for now...
Nutsack!
For myself and Rob, sure, that part comes in. I see how it is. Just do obscenities. Maybe that'll just come through, and it'll just be a string of you just cussing. And that's what the rest of the show will be.
Fuck cocks and dicks and fucking dildos in my balls and fucking assholes, and I just want to lick everything and just fucking kiss it and just rub the balls all over my fucking face and have a woman sit on my head, and I don't know what's happening right now.
So for myself and Tourette's Rob and Patrick, who couldn't be here, we'll say goodnight, and hopefully we'll get this ironed out by next episode. Thanks for listening.
So, Rob and Patrick had a rather interesting, one would say even tumultuous relationship. It kind of evolved over time. Rob just kind of had this weird combative / loving feeling towards Patrick, and Patrick would rebuke Rob at almost every turn. So what we have here, most of the clips that you're going to hear in this next little section actually come from episode 2, Strange Love. I should say the infamous episode 2. If you ever want to hear a lot of intimate details about the Nerds Without Pants, you should go listen to episode 2. It goes down the rabbit hole. But what we have here, we start off with a listener who had asked us to talk about our freebie fives and our gay fives, and I thought that Patrick's gay five selection was just glorious, and also kind of starts in with the weird dichotomy between Rob and Patrick. And then after that we have some rapid fire moments of Rob trying his best to get into Patrick's pants, which really shouldn't be that hard since he's not wearing any. So here we go with some of the best of Rob and Patrick.
Patrick just got himself an extra freebie.
All right.
Yeah, you didn't know that was happening.
Well, Patrick, what about your gay five?
Oh, man. Well, as long as we're talking about Friends and Jennifer Aniston, I had to add who should be her counterpart for life.
Please let it be David Schwimmer. Please let it be David Schwimmer.
No, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt?
Yeah, he's got to be pretty tight. I mean, he seems cool. And then also Thanos and Daredevil. No, but for real, Andrew Garfield probably.
From the new Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, all the way back to the Imaginarium, I think, of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah, he was good in that.
Yeah, and that movie could have been really bad because it was too imaginative for its own good, which I love, but other people don't like. But yeah. And then Christian Bale, if he does his Batman voice in bed.
Where are the drugs at, Patrick?
Yeah.
Where's the lube?
You better get hard.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like when he says that.
That was actually my Rick Grimes voice from Walking Dead. The world.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then speaking of saving the world, I would take Solid Snake after he saves the world, but he's not real, so I'd have to take Nolan North or something. But then there's more. I don't know. I couldn't take it down to just 5 men because there's so many fine men, right? I guess Kingpin, I'd make him my Jabba the Hutt, and then
you'd be his slave girl.
Yeah, but for real,
well, Simon Pegg will drool all over you.
This is weird.
But for real, my 2 of my 5 would have to be dead people, Buckner and Joyce.
No, they're dead. These are not people you're ever gonna meet and fuck.
There was no stipulation.
Oh my god, he doesn't understand the concept of a freebie 5.
Okay, fine. Well, then I'll end it with Joseph Gordon-Levitt because of his recent badassification.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
All right. Also, you should read the article on HelloGiggles.com that Zoe Deschanel tweeted, who should end up with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, if I don't mind saying so. And if they ever want me as a third guy, it'd be cool.
All right. Well,
that was down the rabbit hole really quick.
Yeah, I don't know. Stuff like that. I like really blue eyes. But it doesn't matter the color as long as it's like, when I look into it, it looks like it's changing or something. Like I got hazel eyes, so maybe that contributes to it. But I like to see like eyes that change colors.
Patrick, my eyes change color. I'm not kidding.
I
Would
do
you like
too.
to come over and look deeply into them?
Not really.
Did you say not really? Did you just shoot me down? Oh, you redheaded fuck.
Just keep working on him, Rob. Keep working on him.
I'm gonna. He's gonna have his pants off by the end of the show.
He already has his pants off. That's what this podcast is all about.
Oh, that's true.
I don't know to qualify that. I think the act of creation is a beautiful thing when it's with, beautiful people. I mean, physically and mentally, too. So.
When they don't look like me.
Oh.
Womp womp.
But if they only think like you.
What's that?
Ooh.
If they only think like you, that'll be fine.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. That makes me feel good.
Patrick, can I hit on you again? Are you gonna
No.
are you gonna turn me away?
Yes?
Patrick, I'll be the best lover you ever have. I'm gonna put a runner up on my mail list, and I'm gonna put Patrick on there.
Aw.
You better watch that cornhole, buddy, if we ever meet.
And watch your drink. Like, make sure that you don't drink from an open container.
There might be semen in it. Wait. Oh, you were talking about like a roofie?
Yeah, actually, that's where I'm going.
Okay. It's just like in Prometheus, I dip my finger in it right before handing it to him. Oh, man. Prometheus jokes, guys? Prometheus jokes?
I got it. I saw Prometheus.
Guys, remember that movie Prometheus where Ridley Scott disappointed everybody? Remember that? Oh. I just want like a nude of you reclining. I want that like more than anything.
Flaccid or boner?
Oh, one of each.
Before and after?
Yes.
Like,
Do you feel like you're in charge? Do a Stewie voice.
look at my fanny, look at my fanny, look at my fanny.
Oh, that was really good. Okay, let's take it. Patrick, Julian, you don't need to do your intro again because that was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, I'll count down from 3, and on 1, we'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. From the top. 3,
Hey.
2, 1. I smell sex. Fucking A, Patrick. Why is this so hard for you? It'll go 1 and then a beat, and then you go. So it's like this. 3,
I think I did
2,
it.
1, and then we go. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. I smell sex and gaming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that lounging
in
my chair?
Yeah.
All right.
It's as good as it's going to get, Julian.
I know, it's as good as it's going to get.
I was pitch perfect there. If this was Idol, one of us would be going home, and guess what? It's not me.
I think I had a really good voice.
I think you have a fantastic voice. That's the problem.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. That was like
where?
That was like the Kool-Aid Man bit on the Family Guy episode. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh.
A lot of people
and I'm not imaginative.
Are blaming the fact that Steve Jobs is dead for a lot of these really stupid changes that they're making, because they're basically saying, like, if he didn't die, then they wouldn't be renaming the earbuds, and they wouldn't be changing the 30-prong adapter.
I mean, like, the way that they build the lightning adapter was just hilarious. I don't think Jobs would have done that. Like, they were, like, saying, I mean, their huge hook was, and you can put it in either way. You can flip it. You can not flip it.
You're turning me on.
Yeah.
Should my dick be hard right now? Was that the idea? It's really kind of stupid looking too, the lightning adapter.
It's the coolest thing ever because you can't put it in the wrong way.
It's like, you need to calm down. Calm your ass down.
Yeah.
You should have sent it sooner.
Now, I've known Rob for about 10 years now, and if there's one thing that I can say about him, it's that he is one of the most sexually supercharged people I have ever encountered. And he was on a pretty wild streak back in the early days of Nerds Without Pants, and it seemed like every single topic that we talked about could lead to sex in some way. And I get the impression that that pretty much has not changed too much over the years. But we had this interesting question come from a listener that we talked about that leads to kind of a funny story from Rob, and also a wonderful story of complete failure on my part. So thought that we should just go ahead and throw that in here, because I'm not above embarrassing myself for the sake of entertainment. Enjoy.
Okay.
You wanted to go ahead and bring that in, and we'll kind of close out the show.
Yes. Friend of the show, Jen, wrote in and asked, have we ever passed up sex in lieu of video games? And I'll answer this one first. I have on accident, because I was with my fiance at the time, and I was playing Battlefield 3 with my buddies Mike and Jay, and we were just kicking ass and doing amazing and jumping off the cliff and skydiving. It's really badass. And then she was like, she texts me and she says, I'm going to be naked for the next 20 minutes. Come in here, whatever. And I was like, okay. So I'm playing the game. I was like, guys, I got to go in 20 minutes. And then, of course, because it's Battlefield, we didn't land the plane in 20 minutes. So about 45 minutes went by. And I get up and go into the bedroom and she's totally asleep. So in that sense, yes, I passed up sex for video games once.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I feel we do it all the time. If we don't
I regret
have
it.
sex, we played a video game. We could have used our, prowess elsewhere. And there has to be someone out there who would have had sex with us.
You mean during?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I think we talked about this before, but they shouldn't be mutually exclusive. If we're playing a game, we should be able to have sex at the same time. But
I don't know. I think your KD ratio would go way, way down.
yeah.
I guess for me, like, that situation has never come up. And, it's one of those things where I would like to say that, well, of course I would, like, if I was in Rob's situation, I'd be like, hey guys, I gotta go right now, and then hop to it. But I kind of, you can't really know what you're gonna do in any situation, until you're in that situation. Like, that's what I would like to do, but maybe I'd be, like, so into a game that I just wouldn't know. Like, the thing is that, hold on.
I just thought of how a kill-to-death ratio would go way up if you were having sex at the same time as playing.
How's that?
If you had a video of you at the same time as you're playing, like, when you're doing well or something, it shows, like, the best player or something like that, like Nintendo 3DS can do with Star Fox. Then everyone would be seeing what you're doing. They'd be like, what is that? Why, I can't look away.
Totally distract the other players.
Yeah. It's a good tactic.
Yeah, that could possibly work. Like, in Rob's situation, like, that's pretty obvious, but I'm pretty bad at knowing when women are interested in stuff. So for me, it would probably be more of a, like, unless she was putting out, like, super obvious signs, I would probably be completely oblivious to it. Because also, I mean, I'd like to think that if I was in a relationship and, like, we're married or whatever and we're in the same house, my video game time would be, like, a very specific thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to give all this time to you, but there's going to be a couple weeks out of the year where I'm just going to be, like, incommunicado because the new Final Fantasy came out or the new Silent Hill came out or whatever, whatever game I'm really into at the time, that I'm just going to go and sit in front of the TV for a while. But I feel I would like to say that the rest of the time I'd be like, hey, whatever you want to do, like, I can turn this off. Like, there's a pause button. I can save right now. I can always come back to this type of thing. But I really don't know. I mean, if I'm in the zone like Rob was, playing something, especially with other people, I don't know. It could be a sticky situation, or I guess not.
I was gonna say like the same thing in all seriousness though. Like a lot of the times just will give girls a benefit of the doubt, saying they're just trying to be silly or something like that and not really hitting on me. So I'll just play a game or something and be like their friend, unless they really say like I'm wet, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But in that sense, like I used to play like at college even, I would play like a little title after I got all my homework done, like Everyday Shooter or I don't know, like Pixel Junk Monsters. And I would just play that and just could have hung out with someone who like said like what are you doing, but they didn't say like are you having sex? Well, later on they would say, I used to like you, right? When I used to text you and stuff, and I'd be like, no, you didn't ever say that. Like,
yeah, because girls are stupid and obtuse.
Yeah,
I said.
They're romantic.
No, they're not. I think there was another time where like I was playing a single player game and my fiance came on to me pretty heavily, and I was like, oh, okay, we're done playing this. But that time I did not pass it up.
Yeah, I think I'm like Patrick. Like you've got to be pretty overt with me because I'm really bad at reading those signs. Like I spent enough time seeing signs that weren't there, when I was younger. Yeah. That now I'm just like, well, there are no signs ever. So.
Well, yeah. You know what it is? It's like women will fucking beat around the bush, and like we're literal. Like our brains work differently. Like men are literal, women are figurative, and like you can be like, oh, I want you to come over and hang out, and like. Yeah, okay. Like, it's me and like 4 other people coming over. Like, does that mean you want me to come over, or you just invite me over, like, because they're coming? So it's like, tell me. Like, if you want to go out, fucking tell me. I had this happen, like, not super long ago. I found out a girl from high school had, like, a huge thing for me. All of senior year, a girl that I would have dated in a heartbeat. And I found out on the last day of high school that she had a thing for me. And then she mentioned it again when I saw her not super long ago. Last Halloween, in fact. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, well, to your point, it's like, you can say to come over and hang out and stuff, but, like, some of me just doesn't want to pine my whole life. I want to get stuff done. I want to achieve things, and, like, at least when I'm playing a game, I can see, like, that there are things I'm working toward, but, like, sometimes it's just not obvious, and, like, I don't know, this person just wants to hang out and see what happens, but, like, is that really going anywhere? I don't know, so I'm going to do the thing that I've already been doing.
Yeah.
Patrick just wants that platinum trophy to drop right away.
Exactly.
All right, I'll share a story of fail since we're getting into real talk. Because it kind of Rob's thing kind of reminded me of it, and I think it's relevant. But one of the first rated R movies that I went to go see was Disturbing Behavior with Katie Holmes. Ooh. And I went to go see it, and I was at the box office. I was getting my ticket. There was a bunch of people from high school that were there, and there was this girl named Brooke who didn't have her ID on her, so she couldn't get in. I mean, we're 18, so we still look, at that age where it's like, well, I'm not sure if I can let you in. And I was like, oh, I'll get your ticket for you. It's no problem. And I don't remember. I probably went ahead and paid for her ticket instead of just like have her give me the money or whatever. And I was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. So we walk into the movie and everything, and I like to sit in the back of the theater, kind of up high. And her friends were in the middle of the theater, but she came up and sat next to me. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I guess she's just trying to thank me for buying the ticket or whatever. And this is like the first time that I ever watched a movie with a girl. And, there's some parts of Disturbing Behavior that are a little freaky, and she started to get scared and everything, and I leaned over and I said, hey, are you okay? Like, do you want to step out for a little bit? She's like, no, I'm fine. It's okay. I was like, okay, cool. And we watched the movie, leave, and I say goodnight, walk away, don't think anything of it. Well, a few days later, her friend Jessica, who works in the mall that I do, comes in and says, oh, you should call Brooke sometime. Like, here's her number. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And didn't do anything with it because I was like, okay, well, Jessica probably knows that I had a little crush on her at the time and is trying to get my attention off of her. And never occurred to me that Brooke was actually interested and wanted me to call her and put Jessica up to give me the number. And this didn't occur to me until about a month ago that girl probably wanted to go out with me, and I probably could have had my first girlfriend at 18 instead of 30.
Mm.
So, yeah, I'm really bad with signs.
So,
Yeah.
listeners, I'm just going to say it. Just go for your dreams.
and never, like, and explore all options, even if they seem ridiculous to you.
Yeah, no regrets.
Yeah, like,
No pride.
yeah. Like, literally, like, that thought never occurred to me until about a month ago, where I was like, epiphany! It's like a little light bulb went off in my head, 14 years later.
Don't die wondering, man.
Yeah.
It's the only thing.
The more you know.
Now, of course, I could not do this show without my main man, Patrick Kijek. He's been here since the beginning, and he is one of the most unique people I have ever encountered in my life. He looks at things far differently than most people that I know, and he's just one of those special people that you're glad to know, and always has something interesting and fresh and funny to say. And you've already heard a bunch of him in the early part of this best of episode, but I would feel really bad if I didn't take a moment to highlight some of the best, or at least my favorite moments of Patrick. And you'll hear, of course, much more of him, throughout this episode, but these are some of my favorite highlights, and they actually come from a bunch of different episodes, so if you want to hear more, you'll just have to kind of hunt and peck for them. Enjoy.
So yeah, like most of the music in FIFA 14 is like South African influence, because that was where the, previous World Cup was for soccer. And,
Really, soccer?
Yeah. I'm just going to say buzzwords now. I'm just going to pretend like you know nothing, Julian, because this is one of the things I actually know more about than you. Feels good.
There's a compliment in there somewhere.
There was.
A backhanded one, but yeah.
No, I feel like that was a great compliment. Strike it from the record if it wasn't.
Stay
You
in.
would, Patrick.
Take it out. Fine. Well, anyway, it's like energetic, it's light, but it's also, influenced with different South African vibes underneath, whatever kind of vocals it is. So the whole soundtrack is licensed, obviously, in a sports game, but like in this one, it seems like there's like one kind of theme in the background, even though there's all the different types of people that are talking. And I feel like maybe that happens because there's been 15 of them or whatever. No, that's just the year.
Yeah, there's been a lot more than that.
There's been more. Yeah, because there's the Holidays edition. There are holiday editions. I'm sorry, Julian. This is going to be terrible on post-production. I'm done.
Well, there's holiday editions, huh?
There's holiday editions.
There's so many FIFA.
That's an accurate statement.
Too many FIFAs. Too many cooks. Have you seen that?
Well, I had a good segue, and I don't remember where it went, but
Have you seen Too Many Cooks?
No.
Everybody who's listening needs to watch that now.
Well, maybe finish this podcast and then go. All right, we got to get this recorded.
Can I go to the bathroom and open another beer?
Yes. Those almost seem like they cancel each other out, though.
They will.
That would only be if he was on the toilet while drinking, and if you were doing that, we have a problem.
I did that the last break.
You sit on the toilet while drinking a beer.
I pooped while I was drinking.
And there's our outtake, everybody.
No, it was just pee. Only a little leaked out.
Go get your beer. Nice.
Sorry about that. I just got to be about all that flossing for a second there. Did you ever get something stuck in your teeth and then
Yes.
you were all about that flossing and you're like, I'm going to floss so hard that my gums start bleeding. And you know what? Teeth, fuck you for that because you got that stuff stuck and I'm going to ruin the very bed that you sleep on.
I don't floss.
Did you have popcorn?
I don't know what it was. I was like, it isn't here. God damn it. I went to town on that gum.
Show you.
This next episode is going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, this is 7.5% alcohol by volume.
I was going to say, how deep are you, Patrick? 'Cause this is far from my final form.
This is far from my final. My final form is really quiet.
Well,
It's just kind of.
don't evolve that
Just
far.
sob every few seconds.
No, I just like go in the corner and start masturbating. No. Just kidding, I don't do that.
He doesn't have to do it in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't go to the corner for that.
But I got that and like Fantastic Mr. Fox, and they gave me back to video games the Ultimate NES Remix 3DS version that had it's basically WarioWare with a bunch of different 3DS regular Nintendo games, and that makes things so much cooler. When you know what to do in Donkey Kong, it's like not that hard of a game. I didn't.
Are you for real?
Are you saying WarioWare was too hard for you, Patrick?
No, what I'm saying is, like, I didn't know how to play these old NES games, and I thought they were much more difficult than they were. Like,
No,
Donkey
they're
Kong
simple.
and
That's
Donkey
all.
Kong Jr.
That's funny. I never thought of that, though. I wonder if that's the problem. Is people are thinking they're way more complex than they are. It's like, it's Jumpman. Guess what he does? He jumps.
Yeah, but
That's all you got. Go
there's
for
like
it.
certain
Kill the
patterns usually, and like in this, they give you certain objectives, like bring Donkey Kong down or something. And I was like, I never knew that going past the yellow things in the Donkey Kong screen, if you get all of them, then he just falls. Like I would always
Patrick.
not be able to get past that level.
Dude,
Patrick.
Yeah.
I'm literally face palming right now.
I know.
And like for Excite Bike, I had no idea what was really happening with that bike. Now you got to be with me there at least. No, I don't. When you, what the heck?
There's two buttons. There's accelerate and there's turbo.
But like when you go up a ramp or something, you always spin out, and I didn't know like that I could actually like.
Oh, you can lean back. Yeah, okay.
Level myself out, and
Fair
I didn't
enough.
know that
I can
wheelies
see that.
mattered, and yeah, like that made that game actually appealing to me. So that's two games like.
Great.
Yeah, and I hated that, but I like racing games, so.
I
now
played
it's okay.
so much Excite Bike as a kid, building custom tracks and all that. It's a great game.
Yeah, I got Excite Bike 3D with that free promotion at the beginning of the 3DS and stuff, but I got mad at that too because I didn't know what to do. But the Ultimate NES Remix, gives you all these awesome things to do, and it tells you a lot more like how to beat Dr. Mario easily, basically, when it tells you to like trap things and like gives you strategies for the games that you have. So it's a little more complicated than just knowing the basic things in the game as well. But yeah, now I know basics of Donkey Kong.
What I'm getting from Patrick is that, because he's like 7 years younger than me, is that the kids who are 17 years younger than me are right at that cusp where Super Mario Brothers 1, they're going to need that actual tutorial where like, hey, welcome to Super Mario Brothers, press A to jump, hold down B to run.
But you know what? I mean, didn't somebody explain to you how to play that game the first time you played it too?
No.
No?
No.
I mean, I didn't.
There were two buttons.
Well, that's fair, but I mean, like I didn't play Super Mario Brothers without seeing somebody else play it first. So you had something to go off of, you know what I mean?
See, I just figured it was jump to the top, and then you get to the top and it's not done, and then you hit Donkey Kong and you just die. But
Donkey Kong wins. You cannot compete.
yeah, and then I thought maybe you have to get the hammer, just like in the Mario games originally, and the only hammer you can get in that level is like one level below Donkey Kong. So there's
you can't get there.
Yeah, there's little me just trying to jump up, get Donkey Kong somehow.
Oh, Patrick.
That's funny.
My heart hurts right now.
My kids know how to beat Donkey Kong.
Well, if you listen to the show for any length of time, you've probably figured out that Angelo's wife is kind of awesome. I don't know what magic spell he casts on her to have her be as cool as she is to him, but whatever the case may be, she tends to lavish him with all sorts of awesome gifts that he can't help but gush over and brag about, much to Patrick and I's chagrin. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do a mini mega cut of all of the cool things that Angelo has received from his wife over the years. So just a little shout out to Mrs. Grant, the unannounced fourth member of Nerds Without Pants. Here we go.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with that, but what I'm most pleased with, and if you follow me on Twitter, you know, because I haven't stopped tweeting about it, was I got the boxed set of Yoshitaka Amano, The Sky, which is basically a lot of his artwork for Final Fantasy, 1 all the way through, as far as he worked on the series, which was up until 10. Yes.
Can't lie, I'm a little bit envious. I saw it at like this comic book store while I was in New York and was like, oh no.
It's the re-release, which doesn't have all the extra swag with it. Like there was a $100 and something version that had like a signed thing and an animation cell and something else, but I mean that was like stupid expensive. And I was like, I love Amano, but I can't get this. But turns out they released another one. My wife found it, picked it up for me. I got it for my birthday, and I was like thrilled to pieces with it.
Yeah, so, I saw you got that on Twitter, and I was a little bit jealous.
I knew you would be.
And then I went comic book store hopping with a friend of the show, John Golson, and they had it at Austin Books, which is our biggest comic shop. And I just looked at it, and I was like, you son of a bitch.
I came home, and my wife said something, oh, the new Etrian Odyssey game came in. And I said, what? She goes, yeah. I said, well, I've been meaning to order that, but I actually never did. And then her face just went pale. And I was like, you meant to buy me that for something, didn't you? She goes, yeah, actually, I forgot that was supposed to be a Christmas present. So she totally let that one out of the bag.
Does your wife have a sister, or can you just clone her?
No, I'm not, no. And the last thing, and this might make a good segue actually, was we finished the Aliens quadrilogy that my wife picked up for me once she found out that the first Alien movie like made it so I couldn't sleep at night.
And then there's the gifts. And oh my goodness. I'm going to be busy. I got a lot of games.
What'd you get?
Okay. Well, the first thing we did is we usually open something like Christmas Eve or whatever. That we can use, because usually something they use Christmas Day, like, you know, the kids would get pajamas or something. Just something light. So that's usually like the little fun gift for Christmas morning. You can use this. My wife got me, and I saved the box because I love the box actually, a Pac-Man heat change mug. So then there's all the games, and I do mean all the games. I got 2 games for the Wii. One is Sin and Punishment Star Successor.
Nice.
Yes. And the other one is Metroid The Other M, which I got all 3 Dead Space games.
Just say it. You already let the cat out of the bag, so it's already spoiler country.
I may have gotten a PS4 as a gift, even from my wife.
That's where all gifts come from.
Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, she says she's not getting me anything for the rest of the year. But
somehow I doubt that.
I do too, but I think she's going to stick to like maybe not like going all out like she did in the past, because she already went all out with this.
We're men among men and manly men, yes, manly men are we. We're men among manly men, among manly men are we. We'll sail up north and cross the ice and cross the barren snow.
And then we come to Jason Statham. Now, if you've listened to the show since the beginning, you know that Statham sightings are a thing. It's a thing that doesn't happen too often lately, I think just because, I don't know, maybe it's just a bit that's worn out its welcome, or maybe it's just that since Angelo has come on the show, he's not as big into the Statham cult as Patrick and I are. And people ask, well, what's the deal with Jason Statham? And the simple fact is that he is all that is man, and I aspire to be more Statham-like every day. And I think he's just badass, and you just can't help but love the guy. And it was this ongoing joke back in the Pixel Talk days, and it carried over into Nerds Without Pants. And as I started to get more proficient with editing, I started to throw in Statham sighting drops. And I just thought that as far as like for a best of episode, we had to have at least one Statham sighting, and this is one of my favorite ones. This comes from episode 50, Holofoil covers. So here comes some Statham, coming in hot.
But he'll get back up, so we'll shoot him down, 'cause we are manly men.
I think that's as good a point as any, just because you like Walking Tall got brought up. But it wouldn't be the 50th episode of Nerds Without Pants without a Statham sighting.
Is that right? And why would that be?
But and John already knows this story, but I got to tell it anyway, because, and I meant to tell it on the last episode, but you know, I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately because it's been actually really darn good lately, and I think also the WWE Network has had a lot to do with that. But there's this wrestler named Dean Ambrose who, you know, if you watch wrestling or at all, but maybe not all the time, maybe sporadically, he was part of the Shield, which was like this like trio of kind of, you know, SWAT team-esque guys. They always had like kind of pseudo body armor and stuff on. They all got broken up, and so his gimmick lately is that he's just been kind of like this like crazy guy that's only there for the fight, and he's been coming to the ring in a wife beater and blue jeans and boots, and he's blonde, and he looks like the spitting image of Cody from Final Fight. Now, nice. I've said on this show already my idea for Final Fight the movie, starring The Rock as Mayor Mike Hagar and Jason Statham as Rolento. But I think Dean Ambrose would be the perfect casting for Cody. And I happened to tweet about this a few weeks ago, and I mentioned that, you know, if you haven't been paying attention to the show, that this is my Neville Dean and Taylor directed Final Fight movie adaptation. And it got favorited by Neville Dean. Is it Mark Neville Dean, John?
Man, I can't remember their first names.
Okay, well, Neville Dean of Neville Dean and Taylor favorited it, and that's like the biggest like celebrity that I've ever like had any type of interaction with on Twitter. And I'm not even saying like, oh my god, like that's not the point. My point is that he saw the tweet, and if he's of a certain age, he might know Final Fight, and he's worked with Jason Statham before, and Crank, you know, 1 and 2 are just crazy enough movies to where he might think, you know, we can do a Final Fight movie for like, you know, $15-20 million and get The Rock and Jason Statham in it, and that's all I want. I don't even want any credit for it, guys. I just want this movie to exist so that I can have it all the time and watch it on a daily basis. So that whole rant brought to you by Statham Sightings.
Did you like that one, tough guy? How freaking awesome was that, huh?
I don't know where we go from that. Angelo?
Ranting is something that hardcore geeks and gamers tend to do from time to time, and I think that the rants on Nerds Without Pants can get pretty epic, but sometimes you don't really expect them and you're not really geared up for them. They just kind of come organically out of the discussion, which is what happened on episode 58, Nobody Expects the Pokepocalypse. Try saying that 3 times fast, because I just did, and it was really difficult. This episode features Casey in his first appearance on Nerds Without Pants. He's a staff writer who is also the new host of Backloggers Anonymous, so you should check that out. This was just the last bit of a pretty lengthy Pokemon discussion where I kind of go off on furries because, well, you'll just figure it out. Enjoy.
He's probably one of the coolest Pokemon starters in years, too. I like the grass guy more, but Greninja was the fan favorite.
For which version?
X and Y.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got Y, and I picked Fennekin because I thought, you know, he looked really cool, but then it evolved to the second stage. Way too furry for me. Way, like, just uncomfortably so.
Yeah, it's less so during the final evolution. Like, it turns into, like, some, like, wizard thing. But, yeah, the middle one looks like not just furry, but pedophile, too.
Oh, ooh, yeah. Come on, guys. I teach kids here.
We'll teach those kids to stay away from Fennekin.
Very, very sensitive about that kind of stuff. But it seemed like Julian was a little too sensitive about the furry. Like it might have reminded him of a phase in college or something.
No, I'm a pretty open-minded dude, but I pretty much draw the line at furries. Like that's cool if that's what you're into, but my experience has been that like the furries are also like they kind of just use that as an excuse to get into the really weird stuff that makes the actual dressing up in the furry costume seem normal by comparison. And I'm like, all right, like you have gone off the deep end in such a way that I can't support you any longer. So
whenever
love
somebody
this
talks about
conversation
furries, the
is
only
gone.
thing I can think of is, do you remember at the end of The Shining where they're leaving and the one looks into the room and there's that guy in the bear suit?
I've only seen that version of The Shining once.
Yeah, that's every single time somebody mentions furries, that's what I think of, and it's like
I don't remember that part.
I just think
it's on
from Community.
YouTube somewhere.
It's weird. Well, I don't know why we're even talking about this, but like I remember the first time that I heard about them. Yeah, okay. the first time that I heard about them was on this MTV like real life like special, but it was literally like people just dressed up in like your standard got this at a costume rental store type of, bear costume or whatever. And then it evolved so quickly, to where like, I mean, they spend, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, on these very elaborate costumes that have like, even little bits of like animatronics in the faces and stuff so that they can emote and stuff like that. It's like, whoa, guys. Just, what, and my thing is that, cause like I actually saw like an honest to goodness furry at Ren Fair one year, but the only thing I could think of is like, you're going to get freaky in that after this show is over. That's what's going to happen. And how do you clean that fur? I don't know. So many questions.
Nice long bath.
I mean, it's great to do everything in the guise of being something else, isn't it? That's why Halloween's great.
Well, sure. But
I don't know about everything. That's the real, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to suspend the belief and be something else for a while, but I've never dressed up as a furry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'd definitely pick Sonic, though.
Well, I mean, he's the furry gateway drug, so...
Yeah. I remember you said that.
You're on your way. There's Alex C25, I think, probably, like, throws his iPod every time that I say that, because I know he's a big Sonic fan, and I apologize, but...
Ooh, maybe it'd have to be a Pokemon.
Charmander isn't furry.
Right.
Hey, he's scaly. That's fine.
He's slimy, kinda.
No, he's a reptile.
He doesn't... Well, like that first... I don't know. I disagree.
There is no fur on Charmander. This isn't something you can argue.
No, I'm not saying he has fur. I'm saying he's not scaly. Just by his picture, he looks slimy.
Well, maybe he's more of an amphibian.
He looks kind of like,
He'd be an amphibian. That'd be something for a water type.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, like a salamander.
Salamander, yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of, yeah. I just couldn't think of the animal.
I guess I've never actually touched a salamander.
Salamanders all over the place up here. There's a stream within 2 minutes of my house that we go to, and there's salamanders everywhere.
Guys, I know you can't see the video, but Angelo just looked at like the sides of the screen as if he's like scared to say something about the salamanders.
Well, because like he goes outdoors and he gets attacked by the ticks, and then falls onto the salamanders, and it's just a bad time.
Salamanders aren't far behind.
What are we even talking about anymore?
I don't know. So I noticed that I haven't really featured myself too much on this best of episode. There's a reason for that. I kind of have to be the straight man on the show, being the host and all, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think that I'm particularly funny or entertaining, but I have my moments. If anything, I think that I can tell a pretty good story, and this one is one of my favorite stories. This is from episode 55, Stop Playing With Yourself, and even as I listen to it again now, it just fills me with so much woe. Enjoy. Well, Angelo, the way you were talking about DuckTales, as far as it like just being something that you needed at the time, I mean, I had talked about Diablo 3 that way last time because it really was like, and it continues to be like something as I work through a lot of like personal issues. Like, it's just been this great game to just pop in and zone out and just enjoy. And last episode, I had mentioned that I was thinking of going hardcore mode. Because I kind of, I do want to get all the all the trophies on this one because I think that they're very doable. You just got to put the time in. So there were a handful of trophies that involved hardcore mode, but also one of the biggest gold trophies is reaching level 70 with all 6 classes. So I was going for, 3 trophies tied in with hardcore mode specifically, but then also hoping to use that, as basically having that 6 character class one, a third of the way completed by that point. So I rolled a Demon Hunter, and I was really feeling that Demon Hunter was the way to go for hardcore mode, because even though I was playing on normal, it seems like normal on hardcore is a little bit beefier because they spawn a lot more elite enemies at you, and the elite enemies can really take you by surprise if you're not paying attention. But I was doing so awesome. I kind of rolled through the game. I took down Diablo and got the trophy for that. Went through Act 5, and actually by the time that I finished Act 4 and killed Diablo, I was like, man, I'm only at level 40. Let me go ahead and jack it up to hard for Act 5 because I need the experience boost from it. So I put it onto hard, and I went through Act 5, killed Malthael, got the silver trophy for that, and I was like, cool, I think I was level like 55 by the time I beat the game. And I was like, time to go back and start replaying the game. Let me go ahead and put it on, hard. I think I put on expert for a little bit, and then I tried to go and play some of adventure mode, which is basically where after you beat Act 5, you unlock adventure mode, which is sort of like it takes out all the story elements of the game, and you basically just play through different scenarios for bounties, and you get an experience bonus after you do 5 of them. So, and I tried that, but those are pretty tough on your own, and I was like, no, this is getting too hairy. Let me drop it back down and go back into like back into the adventure, or back into the story mode proper. Gotten through Act 1 just fine. I was doing Act 2, cranking through, doing really awesome. Hit level 66, I was almost level 67, and I was like, holy crap, I'm like 3 levels away from doing this. This is amazing. And I was playing, and it was the night that I got the email from Nick, the site director, asking for our input for the Pixelbit 5th anniversary piece. And so I was playing, and I was just in a random cave, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I should do that. Let me go ahead and finish this cave, and then I'll exit out and save, and I'll go ahead and write that piece. And I was at the end of the cave. I could actually see the little portal thing that you get to at the end of the cave. And then from out of nowhere, this elite bat came, and there's these characters in Diablo called Wallers. They're special magic enemies that create brick walls around you. And the thing about the Demon Hunter is that she's really awesome at range, but she can get spanked really easily at close range. And the walls she can't shoot through, and she also can't vault through. And he created a kill canyon that basically he was in front of me, and the rock wall was behind me. And before I could even drink a potion, I was dead. It happened in like 2 seconds. I couldn't even process it.
And I don't know how you called it a kill canyon.
It was a total kill canyon, and I just sat there. And I was just thinking in my head, I'll just finish this last cave. This last cave. This last cave. This last cave.
Oh, I know how you feel. I've watched like a lot of different people just die at like level 50 and above, and they like all go nuts. And it's awesome for the people who are watching if you like stream it, but like it's so sad. And I even felt sad like just being a monk and like being close to those different elite guys, because you take a couple hits and you're already like almost dead, and I can only imagine like not having a way out. It probably felt like there was no way to win.
Well, and it's funny because when it happened, I was just really bummed out, and I tweeted a whole bunch of pictures like PS4 shares, and Diablo really like twists the knife because you can go and see your character that's dead on the character select screen, but the actual screen is washed out in black and white, and then next to your character's name it just says dead. And so then so then you can convert them to the Hall of the Fallen. So you can always go back and see that character, and it lets you know like their stats and their level and how many hours you played. But the more I thought about it, the more I got really pissed off, because I really feel that enemy just spawned to do nothing but kill me. And keep in mind that the Nemesis, which is that enemy that I told you about that basically goes into different people's games, and then every time that it kills somebody, it gets stronger, and then, when you kill it, you get rewards for everybody that it's killed in the past. I've never been defeated by that thing. I've fought it 3 times, and I've spanked it every time. And some little bitty bat named Arcane Turret, it's not even a cool name, just took me down in 2 seconds. And, oh, and I like it said like the only way that Diablo on the console doesn't actually track your playtime, except I guess in this mode. So I do know that when that character died, I was 24 hours in, which means total I've spent a good 60 plus on this game, and man, it hurts. And I would just, for a moment, I would like to like have a moment of silence for Ariana, level 66 Demon Hunter. And with that being said, after I did that, I totally rolled a barbarian in hardcore mode, and I'm now level 25.
Oh my god, you're doing it to yourself?
The illness is real.
Well, we've come to the last clip that I wanted to share on this Best of Nerds Without Pants special, and it's a long one. It's kind of a doozy, but I really feel like it needed to be in here. One of my favorite things on the show is when our discussions just kind of take us into territory that we're not expecting. As much as I love coming up with interesting topics that are very regimented, sometimes our best stuff comes when we're just kind of, shooting the breeze and don't really have an agenda for that episode. That was the case on episode 38, Jaded, where we all just kind of launched into a pretty fun talk about dream arcade setups. This is one of my all-time favorite episodes, mainly because I think that this is the episode where the three of us, that being myself, Angelo, and Patrick, really gelled for the first time. You really get a good sense of Angelo's dynamic in the group, and he really kind of comes into his own on this episode, and it's a fun discussion. So listen to this, and I'll be back to say goodbye.
Let's say that you own a house and you are setting up a game room, and you have a budget to buy 4 arcade cabinets of your choice. What are they?
I would get. Okay, is a Neo Geo cabinet cheating?
I'll give you a Neo Geo cabinet. I would say don't pick like a Nintendo Play Choice 10 or something like that.
Okay, but do you want? Okay, so if I were to do that, I'd probably get a Neo Geo cabinet, and I'd probably get the ones that come to my mind are Magical Drop. I remember Magical Drop was awesome. Samurai Showdown. And after watching Giant Bomb Guys go nuts with it, I have to get that flying disc game. That thing looks so much fun. Dude, that looks like so much fun. I ended up getting lost on YouTube looking at Windjammers videos because that looked like one of the most fun games ever. And I think maybe for the third one I'd get that futuristic baseball game only because I can't think of anything else I'd rather put in there. And I like baseball, and it was just such a ridiculous game. I remember it being completely over the top and ridiculous, so it would be something to have in there to go look at this.
I used to have the baseball game that was like the Japanese baseball game for Virtual Boy. Have you ever played that? It's like basically like an arcade cabinet game because you just get the one perspective of either you're pitching or you're hitting at the same angle. You're like from like the catcher's perspective, and it's like it's just the two colors, and it's every batter looks the same basically. It's so funny.
Nice.
Getting a headache just thinking about the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, I still have mine, man.
Yeah. I think I would have to get a Spy Hunter upright. I know everybody would be like, get the one with the card, but the upright is the one I have all the memories to. And
you don't want to have to deal with the upkeep of one of those huge cabinets.
No,
like as fun as it would be to own like the full-on afterburner cabinet with like the rotating cockpit. Like no.
Right. Well, Spy Hunter didn't really move. It was just a car body that I think you sat in. I don't know because we never had one.
Could you pick like new games like Jurassic Park or something?
Yeah, I mean, as long as it was in an arcade. I mean, technically you could pick the friggin' Fruit Ninja thing that they have at Dave & Buster's if you're stupid.
Why would you? Let's see. Well, I'd have to get a pinball table. I just don't know which one I would want, and I think I would want one of the older ones. So how many do I have now? I just have one more?
Yeah.
Okay, so the fourth one. Oh boy, I have to think now. Goodness. It's going to come down to
That Star Wars game where you get to play as like you had a lightsaber.
You know what I think I would want? It would be like the ultimate party game. Is I would want a cocktail style table, a 4-player layout of Warlords.
Nice.
Yeah, I would want that for sure. That would be like the centerpiece.
The woman who owned Game Fellas, who I now work for at my new job, once again, she was like a friggin' wizard at Warlords. It was amazing.
Nice. There was this is related, but it's a little off topic. There was a ski lodge near us. I think it was Maple Ski Ridge. I'm not sure. But I went in there one time as a kid, and my only experience with Q*bert, oddly enough, I had never run into a Q*bert arcade cabinet in the wild. I'd never seen one before. And this was actually the first time I ever ran into a cocktail-style cabinet. And also, just to mention, I had played the NES port of Q*bert, which had the weird control scheme, which I still figured out because I really did enjoy that game. But this one had the cocktail-style one. It was a little weird. It was a little. I played a couple, 2 or 3 games on it, and one of the things that I thought was just absolutely nuts was, and I didn't find out until later, like I thought it was in my head, but if you have Q*bert jump off the pyramid, there's a thunk on the bottom of the cabinet, as if he jumps off the pyramid and hits the bottom of the cabinet. And what they did was the same people that designed Q*bert actually made pinball tables, and they put a flipper in there. And if Q*bert jumps off the pyramid, they have the flipper hit the bottom of the cabinet, so it sounds like he hit it.
Nice.
And I was like, that is the coolest thing. Like, I didn't know that was a feature. I was like, where did that noise come from? And it happened twice. And then I found out later that was actually part of, I don't know if they did it with all of them, but at least some of the tables had that. It's a really neat cabinet. So.
Is it weird that every time that I watch Wreck-It Ralph, I start to like significantly choke up when they show the part where like Q*bert is like standing with a little sign that says "Our game has been unplugged. Please help." Oh man, that movie affects me emotionally more than like it probably should.
Did I tell you that I was like totally on board with the movie and I was totally cool, and I was sitting there like smiling, and then at one point we were watching on the DVD, I said, "Holy crap! Wait, back that up! Did I just see what I thought I saw?" And I made him back up, and sure enough, like there's a scene where the train is pulling out of the tunnel, and on the wall of the tunnel it says "Aerith lives."
Oh yeah, there's tons of great
I was like, holy crap, that's the greatest thing ever! I love this.
There's one that says Shenlong was here. There's one that says like Leroy Jenkins.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, but the Aerith Lives one I was like, that's amazing. I don't know who worked on this, but it must have been people our age, because everything, you could do a movie like that and have it be so campy and bad so easily.
Oh yeah.
But like the people who did it I'll bet they were mostly our age.
Oh yeah.
Because they just nailed it. Like they just completely nailed it.
I mean, the little nods, like when Ralph is like going through like the Lost and Found and he finds like the Metal Gear Solid exclamation point. There's no need to like go any deeper than that. You know what it is.
Right.
And if you don't, it's kind of funny because like that's sort of just intuitive of like the light bulb going off or something.
Yeah. All right, Patrick, 4 cabinets.
Oh man, I was gonna say like I would just have Angelo design my place.
That's a cop out answer. Come on, man.
I
Play an
know.
arcade.
No, but I was thinking mine are like just like less creative. Like I'm looking at this Warlords game. I never saw this in any of the arcades that I played. So
that's way before. Actually, it's kind of actually before me and Angelo's time, to be perfectly honest.
It is. I was lucky to find out that existed, to be honest with you. And I've never sat down to play it because it looks like the best party game ever.
And that was like at the beginning of the arcade generation. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like later on it started to dumb down features or something, like going from Mass Effect 1 to 3.
Do you wonder if people said stuff like that? Like, oh, they just dumbed this down. Like, I wonder if they were as like weird about stuff as we are. I'm not the first to bring that up, but it does make me think.
I don't think that they ever said like it was dumbing down, but like the people who got really hardcore into like the early arcade generation never left. Because that's how you have people like, you know, like the guys from King of Kong.
Yeah,
it's like that's what they play, that's what they like.
Yeah, that's why I try to be good at a game like Resogun, because I'm like trying to respect the people who are like that for a little while at least. I always like fall off, but just for like a month or two trying to be really good at one of those games is really rewarding in the end when you see how far you've come at like the very same levels over and over again. I was going to say the Avengers definitely, because you can play as Hawkeye, right? So I have like really good connections with like the Jurassic Park game from when I was a kid, so that's why I asked. But
I'm torn because I'd only want either one of either that or the Star Wars one where you could play as with like a lightsaber basically, and you have to defend your attacks from like either Boba Fett or Darth Vader, depending on how far you are, and that one's really fun.
Yeah, the Sega arcade one.
Yeah.
And also like some really good like shooting parts. Like I always play the Death Star trench run because it's just so fun.
Yeah.
So I get one of those Neo Geos, right?
Mm-hmm. You have to.
I'm not getting a Neo Geo because like the only thing that I would want is Magician Lord, and that would get old real quick.
Why?
Yeah, what about Super Dodgeball though? Sorry, go on.
Well, I was asking, what don't you like in it?
I mean, you know, there were so many like fighting games on SNK, and like I preferred the Capcom fighting games. And then as far as the non-fighting games, like really like my favorite SNK games were Magician Lord, and there was like this side-scrolling like ninja beat 'em up. I forget the name of it. I think it was like just like Ninja Warriors or Ninja Combat, something like that. You had like a red guy and a blue guy, and you could throw like shurikens, and you know, like it was real basic.
I wanted it not because I was like so into Neo Geo, but it like represents you know, that time gone by that's not there anymore.
And you can also cheat because you can just switch out, you know, those 4 games at the time.
I mean, if you want to throw Metal Slug in there or
I was
whatever.
thinking, that or
Magical Drop would be a must-have though, Angelo. That was a
oh man, I love that game.
I'm like blanking on the name, but what's that one game where you actually got like a plastic gun and you shot at the screen and it was like Western themed, but it was like really cartoony?
Was that the Mad Dog? No,
that was FMV.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was fun, but I definitely need a shooting game, like whether or not it's Time Crisis 2.
I was gonna say Time Crisis 2 is probably one of my favorite ones for that.
I'd probably go House of the Dead 3 over Time Crisis 2.
Right. Yeah, that's good too, but I like have Time Crisis 2 on PS2 already, so.
Or that Terminator Salvation game that came out a few years ago.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Time Crisis 4 now. Like, I played that. It's crazy. But, like, I think I want to go, like, old school.
I drew a crowd one time playing Area 51. I actually drew a crowd because I just went on this insane streak of not missing.
You can't mention those shooters without mentioning Aerosmith.
Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. That game is bad.
Remember, music is the weapon.
Oh, jeez, dude, shooters. I was thinking, the minute you said shooters, I thought like Darius or R-Type. You were going to bring up something like that, but no. You go with freaking Aerosmith.
No, I'm not going to put that in there, but I mean, I guess I'll go with Time Crisis 2 because that's the one that I like became really good at. So, yeah. I think, is that 4? The Avengers, Neo Geo, I guess Star Wars, and the shooting game.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, I've been kind of thinking. I thought I had my list just completely locked in when you guys started talking, but it's kind of like changed up just as time has gone. I would have to have a Street Fighter game, and believe it or not, my all-time favorite Street Fighter is Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Really?
So yeah, that's the one that I would pick. Because the roster is so big, and that was the game where I switched from using Ken and Ryu to using the charge characters. So on Alpha 3. I'm a monster with Blanca, E Honda, and Balrog, and DJ.
Nice.
And it was I never used those characters before, and they became my mains in that game, and I love the juggling system and stuff like that. So that's the one that I would pick.
Yeah. How did you become better at it? What was the thing that went off in your head that made you good with charge characters? Because they're tough to play at.
It was something about the way that particular game plays, because I can't use them on Street Fighter 4. I had to go back to circular characters.
Okay,
there was just something about the way that I don't know, and part of it I didn't really play it in the arcade too much, so maybe I wouldn't be as good. I played it for hours and hours and hours on a PlayStation controller, so maybe that's part of it, is that it was just easier for me to charge on that controller because of the way the D-pad on the PlayStation controller is made.
Yeah.
But there was just something about them that clicked, and also just I got really good at 2-in-1ing a jumping attack with a standing attack and then into Blanca's roll or something like that. And in particular, DJ has a super combo, which it's his rocket punch, and the hitbox on it is kind of ridiculous. And I would love fighting my cousin, because if I could hit you with just the end, just the very edge of the pixel of the hitbox, it would hit. And it does so much damage, and I knew exactly the right distance to hit that thing. So it would look like I was going to miss, It's like, nope, you're going up. So it's stuff like that, and I've probably, well, I don't know, I've played a lot of Street Fighter. I would like to say that I've played that one more than others, but I played a hell of a lot of Street Fighter 2, so probably not. So that's a lock. I was thinking about this because they also mentioned on the Giant Bombcast, and I think I wouldn't get tired of this. WWF WrestleFest, which is a tag team like WWF wrestling game. It's so good. It would be a toss between that and Saturday Night Slam Masters, but WWF gets it for the nostalgia of the wrestlers in it, because it's got like Demolition and Ultimate Warrior and Sergeant Slaughter and stuff like that.
Doink? Is that?
Doink isn't in it. No. He was in the WWF arcade game, which is the one by Midway with digitized graphics. Yeah.
He was in the Super Nintendo one too.
Yeah.
Doink was.
Yeah. Oh man, the Super Nintendo games are great. Royal Rumble is responsible for the R button on my Super Nintendo controller being mashed to smithereens, because that was the button that you used to like, grapple and stuff like that. And my cousin just has these incredible fast fingers, and he just like pulverized that R button.
Nice.
I had to buy a new controller.
And I have to buy new PS4 controllers already, though. I got through both of my controllers' D-pads already.
Wow, that really?
Yeah.
Oh, Resogun?
Resogun and FIFA.
Oh, okay.
You know what I discovered too? I have chewed through yet another L button. My 3DS L button no longer works.
I'm worried about my 3DS circle pad, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
After I've been playing Zelda, and we'll get into that a little bit, but yeah, it's just something about it doesn't feel quite right when I'm walking around dungeons. I'm like, I hope this thing doesn't just break, because that's not a Nintendo thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to upgrade to an XL, and I think it's better hardware. So I don't know. We'll see.
That's what I thought.
3DS, I have the launch one, the green one. It's I can't even press the home button sometimes. I have to hold it down in the right direction. So stuff's happening to it already. I think I might try to trade it in before it's broken.
Yeah, my L button is completely shot. I don't know. I might be able to trade it in. I don't know, because it is the Zelda one. It's the limited edition Zelda one with all the gold trim and everything. But that L button, I don't have any games that I'm going to play anytime soon where it's going to be a necessity, like Bravely Default. It basically is the next game I'm going to play, and that's used as a shortcut more than anything else. So I can totally live without it. Did you finish your 4, Julian?
No. I only had 2. Let's see. I would probably get. I want to say NBA Jam.
Yeah, I
wanted that choice, dude.
Because I'm thinking of stuff that I wouldn't mind just playing over and over and over the years. That also I can't get a better experience on a console. And I think that's one of them where even though you could probably get a arcade port of NBA Jam that's pretty good, it's still not going to be as good as the arcade. So, yeah, I would get that. Oh, and then the last one, and Patrick, I'm surprised at you.
I'm probably going to change it.
Just because of your origin stories with video games, because I figured you would have picked
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I would get.
I was waiting for somebody to
Turtles cabinet.
Yeah, I gotta change one out and put the Simpsons in there.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Ninja Turtles or Simpsons that was your first arcade experience.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right. You got me.
The Simpsons is a much better game than the Ninja Turtles one, honestly.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't played the Simpsons one in years.
The Turtle ones is just really easy, and it's rinse and repeat. You're gonna die a bunch of times, but you're gonna beat it anyway.
Yeah.
Simpsons is actually you might lose all your quarters.
Simpsons is fun. It's got the team up attacks, and it's just the settings are way more interesting.
Yeah, they're grandiose, I think.
Yeah, it's just way more fun, in my opinion. I'm not saying I didn't love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid, but if you're going to give me a choice between that and The Simpsons, I would choose The Simpsons.
Well, good thing you said that. I just felt the haters back off.
No, whatever.
All the commenters.
Look, if you don't think I know what I'm talking about, we did a video ages ago. Oh, I don't know if it got lost on the site, but where I played through that game as Michelangelo, and I pretty much lasted all the way to the end.
Awesome.
So
that's pretty impressive, because me and my friend Joe were trying to beat that game online, and we just couldn't do it. It limited your continues.
Well, it was me and 3 other people, but in the end, I think it was me and Jason. But Jason had Donatello, which is a win button in that game, and I had Michelangelo, who is it is a toss up between him and Raphael as to who is the worst. But I always played as Michelangelo because duh. So, but yeah, I like The Simpsons as better as a game, but I have a lot of great feelings for TMNT for sure.
All right, well, I'm kind of digging this whole like question thing, and Michael117 actually wrote in with a couple questions for us.
Wait, real quick.
Go ahead. Okay.
None of you guys wanted the X-Men cabinet?
You know,
Well, I had the Avengers. That's like pretty similar.
Yeah, I knew you would pick the Avengers. I knew you wouldn't pick the X-Men, but I was really surprised that neither of you wanted that X-Men cabinet.
So here's the thing: is that I would want the 6-player X-Men cabinet.
Yes, you
but
would.
I would be afraid of that one burning out because even back when it was new, those monitors always were problematic because there's two of them in there.
Yeah, and one of them would be off color.
Yeah.
I played that game like a year or two ago. Like it's so like recent memory, and it was like short, so like really short. It was like a half hour. I think we beat it in or something.
I think they're all pretty short. I want to say
they are. I mean, they're quarter munchers for a reason because there's not a lot of content.
Right, and you can only put one of those in your 4.
Yeah, that's why I only picked like the Ninja Turtles one, and I think because I have fonder memories of that because when that came out, I was like the uber Ninja Turtles fan. It was like the perfect storm. Cause like when X-Men came out, I hadn't even gotten into like X-Men comics yet. Yeah. And it's like there was never like a Transformers arcade game. So like the Ninja Turtles one was like, this is the thing that I love more than anything else right now. And here's a video game that's like playing the freaking cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, I want to real quick that Patrick, that the Jurassic Park game, that was the one where you're in the Jeep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I swear you could beat that one in like 15 minutes.
Really?
I think if you just sat there and plugged quarters into it, it would be a 15-minute game. Well, I'm guessing.
When I played it, though, I couldn't because I was, like, really small.
No, I gotcha. Yeah, it's an older cabinet.
I would imagine it would last longer than that because a lot of those light gun games kind of move at a very scripted pace.
Yeah.
But this one is a scripted fast pace. Like, it is a Jeep at 90 miles an hour with you have a turret-mounted machine gun, basically, just spraying bullets everywhere. I mean, it feels like a really intense 15 minutes, but I swear, I could probably look it up. I'll bet it's about 15 minutes. Let me just check.
Yeah, you could look it on how long to complete or whatever.
Yeah, hang on.
And part of me, and this is totally not serious, but part of me would almost want to have an arcade cabinet of Time Traveler, just to show people like, hey, check out this hologram.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there was some really neat stuff that that happened in our
X-Men or Galaga in there, but like I can get better experiences of those on my PlayStation already, so it would just be another gimmick machine,
Yeah, because I've got my Namco like classics collection, and that does me fine for Galaga and Pac-Man.
Right.
Plus, I can't go back after Pac-Man Champion Edition DX.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dig Dug they have on there too. So.
Yeah.
15 to 18 minutes.
Wow.
I was guessing, too.
So there you have it, folks. Some of the best bits from the past 74 episodes of Nerds Without Pants. I really hope that you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to put together, and to be perfectly honest, there are plenty more moments that I could have pulled, but I just didn't have the time to re-listen to every single episode and pluck the best stuff. But if you want, you should go back and listen to those old episodes. One thing that I really noticed going back from the beginning, because I actually did end up listening to the first 9 episodes in a row, that's still some really good stuff, really good discussions. Things get deep, things get funny, and if you came in kind of late to the party, after like episode 30-ish or so, you should go back and check out some of those old episodes. They're really good. And as always, we hope that you will give us some feedback. Let us know what you thought. Maybe there was some gems that you hadn't heard about before, or you just have some fond memories of your own. So be sure to put those in the comments. And as always, for myself, Patrick, Angelo, and Rob, thanks for listening, and keep it pantsless, Internet. Goodbye.
So what is this other thing?
It says mingling, branching family trees. Welcome to PodClear. Am I a guest? Did you send me a guest pin?
Not yet.
Because that's what I think Moises did for me, was he sent me a guest pin and I just entered it and then it put me in on the call. How's my audio? I'm actually using that huge mic that you saw in the corner of my room, Julian, and I used Amazon Now for the first time ever today. Ordered headphones and a pop screen.
It sounds really good.
My P's should be perfect. But I've never used Amazon Now before. It was kind of cool. You have to place at least a $15 order, and then they show up at your place like within an hour. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, I didn't even know we had that here.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I have my pop filter too, so I'm going to get into doing ASMR videos and talk like this and help people get really relaxed and help them with their sleep and stuff like that, and just like crinkle paper.
So I put a foam thingy on my headset.
For some reason, I thought Angela was black.
What? That's funny.
I don't know.
Is this the first time we've recorded with video since you've been? I guess so.
Yeah. And I've never seen a picture of the guy, so.
Yeah, well, he's an enigma wrapped in a conundrum, wrapped in a mystery.
Bacon.
Yeah. I wish.